It's been a quiet summer for UAPs. We had the delayed hearings back in May. So there were supposed to be UAP hearings this year. And so far, we haven't had any. But that's about to change next week, September 9th, 2025. We will have UAP hearings, 10 o'clock Eastern. I will be live streaming them. And they have now released the names of the 4 witnesses who will speak. Welcome to Lehto Files. I'm Chris Lehto. As a retired F-16 pilot, while I was in the Air Force for 20 plus years, I heard nothing on UAPs, absolutely nothing, never saw anything while I was flying in the air. Meanwhile, the Air Force was directly involved with the study of UAPs back in Project Blue Book. But since then, since 1969, the Air Force has been completely silent on UAPs. They've only released vague reports. And while the Navy did release the 3 videos, and they've released some since then, the Navy has also given directives that they will not release any Freedom of Information Act requests for UAPs. So as a former pilot, I see this as a huge trust issue. Trust in the US government is at an all-time low, and it really started with the Kennedy assassination, and the complete lack of transparency around UAPs isn't helping that. So this hearing next week is called Restoring Public Trust Through UAP Transparency. Hopefully, it would be amazing if they could change that and actually restore some sort of trust. So we'll have 2 Air Force vets, including Dylan Borland. He's new. He'll be testifying. In this video, we'll cover why the Air Force secrecy erodes trust. We'll look at who's speaking next week in the hearings, and we'll see why Borland's role matters. Please like, subscribe, and comment what you think they're hiding. Since Project Blue Book ended in 1969, the Air Force has barely addressed UAPs, claiming most are balloons or birds. And to be honest, most are balloons and birds, but not all of them, right? During my 20 years in the Air Force, flying F-16s for 18 years of that time, most of that time, I never even heard the word UFO or UAPs. We did not talk about it at all. And I did my training at Luke Air Force Base in 2004. So that was just 7 years after Phoenix Lights, and no one mentioned anything about that event. The Pentagon's AARO, that's the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, put out a 2024 report on 757 cases. They said only 21 were anomalies. And they released no real details, but they still had 21 that were anomalous. Kozlowski, he's the new director. He seems to have changed his tune slightly, but again, he told James Fox that he can't part his hair without talking to the Pentagon. So the Navy, by contrast, has released FLIR footage like Gimbal, the Tic Tac FLIR 1 original, and the Go Fast videos. But still, like I mentioned in the intro, they will not accept any FOIA requests. Representatives Luna and Burchett have called out the secrecy multiple times, and ex-posts echo your frustration, the public's frustration. And for instance, they've mentioned nothing of the famous Tic Tac engagement with David Fravor in 2004 off the West Coast. They clearly have radar tracks. They have radar information from the E-2 that was flying, the Hawkeye, and also an Aegis cruiser that was out there, as well as, I'm sure, radar contacts from the carrier itself. And the F-18 radar has contacts, which they haven't shared. So they have all that information, and they've released none of it, and nor given any sort of comments on it. Just haven't released any data. And that's really been the most frustrating and eye-opening for me, because as a military pilot and in the Air Force, it's integrity first. That's our first core value. And so we relied and trusted our chain of command, but it shows that we can't really trust our government to be transparent with us. So hopefully that will change. But hiding UAP info, and even worse, discriminating against whistleblowers and harassing them, that really breaks that trust with the public, and especially service members. It's undermining faith in government. So this hearing's title says it all. And I think we really do need transparency to rebuild that faith. Okay, so this is the release on the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform website, published September 3rd, 2025. Luna announces hearing on transparency, relating to unidentified anomalous phenomena. So from Washington, Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets Chairwoman Paulina Luna today announced a hearing on restoring public trust through UAP transparency and whistleblower protection. That is huge right there, whistleblower protection. All the whistleblowers have basically noted that they have no protection. When Jake Barber went to talk to a senator, the senator asked him for protection. So I think this is a serious issue. During the hearing, members will hear from witnesses on the continued concerns regarding disclosure of unidentified anomalous phenomena and information held by federal agencies, and will examine transparency issues surrounding the Department of Defense and the intelligence community. Members will also analyze the work and effectiveness of DoD's congressionally mandated All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. And boy, do they need to. So the previous director, Sean Kirkpatrick Pants, I think just offended everyone involved in this. And the new guy, John Kozlowski, seems to be quite a bit better. He's at least said that UAPs exist and they are anomalous. And supposedly, according to Luis Elizondo and people that have talked to him behind the scenes, he is trying to at least change the direction, or the perception at least, of Aero. The release continues. The American people deserve maximum transparency from the federal government on sightings, acquisitions, and examinations of UAPs, and whether they pose a potential threat to Americans' safety. Whistleblowers who provide details on spending information and policies and procedures regarding the classification and declassification of UAPs should be able to do so without retribution. They should, for sure, 100%. And they're not, it sounds like. I look forward to hearing from witnesses on how the federal government can improve transparency and provide better answers on UAPs, said Task Force Chairwoman Luna. So the Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets hearing is titled Restoring Public Trust Through UAP Transparency and Whistleblower Protection. That is amazing. If we could have those two things, that would be unbelievable. I think that's all we're asking. The date is Tuesday, September 9th, 2025, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Location is in HVC 210, the U.S. Capitol Visitors Center. And here they've released the witnesses. So we have Jeffrey Nuccetelli, U.S. Air Force veteran. He released the red square. We'll look at that. Chief Alexandro Wiggins, he's a UAP witness on the 2023 Tic Tac. He was on Weaponized. We'll look at that as well. George Knapp, famous UAP journalist. He broke Bob Lazar's story. I'm sure you guys know him if you're watching this channel. So excited that he's there as well. And then we have the wild card. The new guy is Dylan Borland. And he's a UAP witness, U.S. Air Force veteran again. And I'm probably most excited to hear from Dylan Borland. If you're in the area, you can go. Unfortunately, I will not be there, could not make it, but the hearing's open to members of the press and the public. So it's first come, first serve, but people will cut in line, so watch out. And it will be live streamed here when I will be live streaming on my channel if you want to watch it here as well. So just come back to this channel and watch it with the Lehto Files audience. Okay, so let's look at the first witness. This is Jeff Nuccetelli, and this is on Merged Podcast.
To the best of my recollection, it was a somewhat flattened square plane, yeah, and basically just a big square object, the size of a football field, silently floating over the launch pad, red in color, glowing this red color. So as far as I know, it wasn't a cube. It was like a flattened square.
Okay, so that is Jeff Nuccetelli. He's an Air Force veteran. He was a security patrolman. This is on Merge Podcast. Link is down in the description, so check it out if you want to hear his testimony. That's probably what we'll hear, is something similar, and then he'll answer a question. So he saw a red square UFO at Vandenberg Air Force Base in the 2000s, a large, silent, glowing object with sightings involving dozens of personnel. So this was a mass sighting. And the Air Force, again, has never disclosed it. As far as I remember, it was just barely mentioned in an Aero report. But was there any serious investigation done on it? Unknown. Is this one of the anomalous sightings that Kozlowski mentioned before? Again, unknown. So they just can't be trusted to actually share any actual investigative results. Okay, the next two guys is actually Chief Alexandro Wiggins. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Alex Wiggins and actually George Knapp. They're both on this Weaponized podcast. Again, links are all in the description. I recommend you check it out. I also made videos on both of these And I think this sighting that Alex Wiggins was a witness of is probably the best military sighting apart from the Tic Tac. So, Navy Senior Chief, 23 years of experience, saw Tic Tac UAPs off USS Omaha in 2019 and the USS Jackson in 2023. So here you can see what looks like clearly a Tic Tac shaped object, looks like a Tic Tac, and then these crosses are actually the gun cross essentially. So these are radar hits. And that's how Alex said they found it initially, was from the radar. So they have radar on multiple objects, and then they zoom in with the FLIR, so infrared. And this is accurate. This is weapons grade information to defend a ship. And so I think this is just an amazing video. I mean, look at that. That looks clearly like a Tic Tac, just unbelievable. And Alex Wiggins knows his stuff, 23 years doing this. He surely knows how far away something like this should be and what it should look like. So check out my video on this case. I literally said, I hope Alex Wiggins testifies to Congress because he needs to. This is unbelievable. And from what I understand is this did not make it to Arrow. So this Tic Tac case was never investigated by the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, and that's literally what they're supposed to do. So he is a great witness, super credible, super experienced, and he is a Navy vet. So he's not an Air Force vet, but he is a Navy vet. And again, why didn't this get to Arrow? Why didn't they look at it? And then George Knapp, I'm sure you guys know George Knapp. He's an amazing journalist, amazing in the space, been doing this for decades, broke the Bob Lazar story, has the courage, has the guts. I mean, look at all those files behind him. And he's investigated Alex Wiggins. He's investigated Matthew Brown. He brought them forward. So it'll be amazing to see those two together and to see George Knapp getting into the congressional record. And then the final witness, and the one I'm most excited about, is Air Force veteran Geospatial intelligence analyst from 2011 to 2014, Dylan Borland. And little's known about him. So we know he worked at BAE Systems and Intrepid Solutions. He's likely analyzing satellite and radar data, possibly with the National Geospatial Agency. And that's David Grush said that he basically implicated them as knowing this, as well as John Ramirez. Chris Mellon has also said that there is satellite data, satellite information, videos, a lot of video evidence showing that there are these crazy orbs. So far, we've heard nothing from any sort of NGA whistleblowers. So I'm really excited about this. We have no real public details on his UAP sightings. This is his X profile. It's at the Dylan Borland Declaration of Independence there. And then it says here, Roman Catholic, for there is not anything secret that shall not be made manifest, nor hidden that shall not be known and come abroad. Luke 8:17. That is a pretty impressive quote. And he only joined in February 2025. So I'm one of his followers along with Vinny Adams and Red Panda Koala. And he just has 4 posts. Right, August 21, the most recent. Hank Hill and the boys sing When You Were Young. So that's pretty random. They grow up so fast. I guess he has chickens or he really likes them. Maybe lives out in the country while fishing this morning. Had a bald eagle fly right overhead and land on the tree next to me. The things that happen when you least expect it. And then this. So he reposted from Tucker Carlson. He reposted an interview with John Kiriakou, who I actually interviewed on this channel. Amazing guy, amazing story, unbelievable. And he was a whistleblower and he went to jail for 2 years for whistleblowing on the CIA, committing obvious torture. And he was right. So John was right. So this is him on Tucker Carlson. John Kiriakou committed Washington's one unpardonable sin. He embarrassed the CIA. He really called them out for obvious torture. John Benham tried to have him executed for it. Brennan tried to have him executed, and they built just such a BS trumped up charge to put Kiriakou in jail. It was ridiculous. Again, watch my interview with Kiriakou. Amazing story. And he really lays out whistleblowers have zero protections and the government can really do whatever they want. People in the government can do whatever they want to put you behind bars and to harass you, even when you are right. And he was right and he was proven right. So can the hearing actually restore trust? Nuccetelli and Borland as Air Force vets could reveal Air Force data. So radar track, satellite imagery, or reports. It could show that it's been hidden. We have Borland's geospatial expertise. That really makes him key. Really excited about him. He might show UAP patterns that the Air Force buried if there are videos from satellites out there showing orbs, as John Ramirez has claimed, and as Christopher Mellon has also claimed. Then Borland can say, yes, I saw those videos. What about Immaculate Constellation? That was from Matthew Brown. Will Borland have some information on that this is actually kept secret? So if we can get more protection, Whistleblowers Protection Act, if it could bring forward more insiders, then that would be amazing. Every whistleblower that comes forward, every insider, every UAP witness will make it easier for the next guys to come forward. Unfortunately, we do have DoD pre-approval, so that might limit what's said. And from what I've seen, most ex-users doubt that we'll get any sort of full disclosure. But as a pilot, I see this secrecy as a betrayal of public trust. If Borland and Nuccetelli share actual hard evidence, at least hard testimony, it could force the Air Force to share, to be more transparent, and possibly come clean on some of these videos. Maybe they will be forced to release videos. Maybe the Navy will be forced to remove its ban on Freedom of Information Act requests. That just seems ridiculous. So that will align with the hearing's goal of restoring faith in government, and we surely need it. But if they just show this video and get some compelling testimony from Alex Wiggins, man, that's going to be huge in itself. So either way, the Air Force's UAP silence has really eroded trust for decades, not just the Air Force, it's the government in general. And as a former F-16 pilot and American citizen and just a human on Earth, I want the truth. I think many of you, like me, just want the truth. And the September 9 hearing with Borland and Nuccetelli is going to deliver something, right? I don't think it's going to deliver full transparency, obviously, but it is going to help push the needle. So you can watch it live with me here and join for my reactions along with the Lehto Files community. Just subscribe and you'll get notifications. Don't forget to hit the like button and comment. Let me know what you think. What do you hope Borland reveals? Do you think he'll say that there are videos from satellites of these orbs? Thanks for all your support. You can support further on patreon.com/Chris Lehto or become a YouTube member like these fine people. See you next Tuesday for the live stream. Have a great weekend. Peace.